G'day and welcome to another episode of Hook Sports Academy's Coach's Drive, episode 3. Today, our topic of the week will be game sense. So we're going to cover off the definition of game sense, why is game sense important, 3 key elements of game sense, how coaches can work on it, develop it along with players, and a couple other little important things. So I'm going to start off with the definition, and we're going to start off with the definition in my words. So in my words, it is game sense is being aware of your surroundings and likely outcomes in all different situations which can assist your decision making. So to kind of break that down a bit, we're just being aware of what's around us, how the game might pan out, and what we have in our arsenal to use to win that game or win that moment. So that's pretty much just breaking down that definition of game sense. Why is game sense important? So I'm going to look at it from a leadership point of view. So a leader really needs to be one step ahead of the game, don't they? So they need to understand what is happening within the game to assist them into making the correct decisions, hoping for the correct outcome, while assisting in that, making a very positive outcome for his team or her team. Players also need to have good knowledge of game sense, just to understand when to increase, say, run rates, strike rates, along with being able to knuckle down in certain moments and making sure we're not losing wickets in clusters. So this all relates back to the knowledge of the game situation. So we're going to touch on now 3 key elements, and my 3 key elements, you might disagree, but these are my 3 key elements. So understanding the state of the game. So balls, runs, might affect where you set your field, etc. So really understanding the state of the game, what's required of you as a team if you're batting or bowling, fielding. Time often isn't on our side on the cricket field. Obviously need to get through over rates, etc. And if you're playing juniors, you've got to get to seniors, etc. But you just need to take that moment to either develop a plan on the go, or ideally just tweak the plan if you need to that you've already got. So use your time, take your moment. Right, you can't just be rushed the whole time. Right, understand that this is what we need to do. We've got a plan in place. It's not quite working. Let's tweak it a little bit. All right, talk to your few key members of your team, your leadership group, and then discuss it. So that's really important. Also need to develop. So we're looking at the development of it. So this is a chance for you to trust your group and trust the process that you've set in place. So if you're not willing to develop your game sense, you then can't expect to be thrown into that position and succeed. So this is where the coaches come in. We need to really develop it. Now, to just move along to that is how we're going to look at how coaches can then develop game sense with our players, along with players as well, for them to develop. So it's important to understand that game sense only really gets developed through experience of playing cricket. You're not going to be able to play your first game of cricket and understand what's going on. So playing multiple games of cricket, getting experience in your legs, will then develop that game sense. So firstly, a coach can incorporate this into a training session, so game sense into a training session. So the way to do this, and this is the way I would ideally do it, it's a good way to go step by step. For example, so we're going to have some centre wicket practice. Now, centre wicket practice, I know as a junior growing up, was the worst thing ever because it didn't have much structure to it. So you've got to employ some structure. Right, so this is the way to talk to your batsmen. So before they go into bat, we've got 2 set batsmen going in. Talk them through a scenario. Say you might, we need 40 runs off 18 balls. Right, very, very hard task, but this is the scenario. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to work through to achieve this. So that's really important, and make sure you talk to your bowlers as well about why, where they need to be, what they need to be doing. But first of all, as a coach, I'd like you to ask them first before giving them the answer. Don't drip feed them the answer. Ask them, see where they want to be, see what they want to do. This is also a very good way to develop it. So the players need to focus, and I said this before, understanding the state of the game. So the players need to understand the state of the game. So it's not for the coaches to go out there and tell you, hey, look, they need 40 balls off. They need 40 runs off 20 balls. That's not the way it works. Players need to understand it so they can work through it with their own knowledge. So this is why we need to develop it. Important to note, to encourage junior players to develop game sense as early as possible. The earlier they develop this, the more successful they're going to be as a player and more successful their team is going to be in the future. Teams will play better, teams that read the play better and stay relaxed in these kind of situations will most likely defeat a team that then rushes and are very reactive. So we need to be proactive, processes in place, understand the state of the game, and then say tweak plans if we need to. So that's another episode of Coach's Drive. That's episode 3 complete. Please visit our YouTube channel if you want to see more videos, or Facebook or Instagram to see everything that we do with Hook Sports Academy.